Pennsylvania? Seriously? When you think of groundbreaking modern residential architecture, Pennsylvania probably isn't the first place that comes to mind. Yet somehow, hidden among the rolling farmland sits what might be the most perfectly executed new luxury home I've ever seen. Now, this is La Maison Noir, a $16.5 million estate that doesn't rely on bizarre shapes, flashy gimmicks, or architectural stunts to impress. Instead, it takes the timeless language of traditional farm buildings and reimagines it with extraordinary restraint, modern proportions, and what appears to be almost obsessive craftsmanship. And you'll see. At least that's what it wants us to believe. Because no matter how beautiful the photography is or how compelling the story behind the home may be, every luxury estate has weaknesses, and I like to point them out. Every architect makes compromises, every builder leaves clues. So today we're putting La Maison Noire under the microscope. We'll dissect the architecture, the craftsmanship, the materials, and the execution to answer one question. Is this really a $16.5 million masterpiece, or is it simply one of the best marketing campaigns we've ever seen? Let's find out. Now, this is a short video. This is the only one I can find that had a pretty comprehensive view, but it runs through pretty quick. I'm going to play it through and then we'll go back and find some of the things that we can critique. All right, let's go. All right, there we go. Now let's go back. We're going to go back and we're going to see what we can find. Did you see anything that jumped out that said, hey, I don't think that was done right, or hey, I don't think this is worth $16.5 million? Let's see. Let's start right here. I like the symmetry, the consistency. Also, the symmetry. Well, when I say symmetry, I mean they're keeping like the houses are in scale with each other. The different properties are in scale with each other, but they also maintain pretty similar roof lines. So it's nothing crazy. You don't see a whole bunch of different gables. They're all simple, but they all speak the same language. So I appreciate that. Not only that, but there's a lot of just within this one area. There are a lot of just you see what appears to be. This looks like the maybe like the existing structure. I don't know if any of the others were there, but this looks like the existing structure. But they all kind of mimic um, in design this original form. This is, I think, is the I think it's like a guest house or not really. That's what it is right now. But it looks like this is what was there first. And so they took this and formed a design language around it. It looks like this is a cedar shaped roof too, which I don't mind. You know, this is supposed to be kind of like a modern interpretation of a classic farmhouse type of design. And it does a really good job of keeping those elements. It's not like a white box with a flat roof, which I love those, and if they execute it right. But this is a good departure from that. So you can have you can have that classic shape, but also a modern lean on it, which I appreciate that. There are the overhangs are short, and that's how they achieve that look. They have short overhangs, not a lot of porch area, lots of windows, and they're symmetrical. Um, it's just a clean. I think I want to say, and I could be wrong, but I think this is kind of leaning toward like the salt box house shape kind of thing, which is prevalent. When you're in on the East Coast and more so in the Northeast, like in Maine and things like that. And I think this borrows heavily from that. Let's see what else we can see. Now, one thing that did jump out to me is that they really did a really good job. Now, this is very balanced. I'm not into like feng shui or anything like that, and not to have anything against that, but I do understand and can appreciate when symmetry is designed into to a structure and not just kind of haphazard. These windows were, you can tell they were thought of first. They weren't afterthoughts. They weren't, because you have to build around, when you create openings like this, you have to have the structure, like you have to have beams above these so that you can, to support the weight over the window so that the windows don't break under weight. Um, so I say that to say, I say that to say because typically a lot of places will build the structures first. You put this, have the studs every 16 inches in between here, and then you may have, sometimes they may have you know not exactly large window openings because they don't really think about those things oftentimes first. They just maybe they're afterthoughts. I mean, still they can accommodate them after the fact, but this seems to have been intentionally designed to accommodate these specific windows, which I appreciate. And again, the symmetry is executed very well. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out that it's really interesting, the use of wood. There's a lot of wood here, and it does a good job of. I'm not really sure what this is. Looks like it could be. Um, Not really sure if it's oak or if it's fur. Not really sure. It's stained, but it's beautiful. There are no. One thing that kind of stands out is that these are all the same. These are all equal length boards. I couldn't see any seams. So that's a different level of execution. And what that means is that for this entire all from floor to ceiling, these are the same height. So this could be, I don't know, it could be 8, 9 feet or maybe taller. which is a lot more expensive than just random length that you kind of put together, kind of like a staggered hardwood floor type of feel. These are these are things that require a different. I mean, again, every piece of wood has to be cut to fit from floor to ceiling, and so again, that raises the cost. But it speaks to what they were trying to accomplish. They wanted a more seamless, um, a more sleeker look, not a random farmhouse type of thing on as far as on the inside, where you may not care about the if you have a 3 inch board, a 3 and a 5 inch, or a 4 and a 4, or a 2 and a 6 foot board. And I'm just talking about how they could be split up. These are all the same length, the same height. Let me say that. I think I've been referring to it as length in the previously, but I mean height to describe how this is executed. Here's another thing that's really important. So, and here's the thing that you see too, throughout the entire house, there are very simple materials. This looks to be fluted marble. I'm not sure if this is marble. It looks like it's marble. Let's say that. But they fluted the design to give it a little bit more texture, and I appreciate that. The natural materials flow very well in this house. And what they did do a great job of is keeping the materials very simple. You have the stained wood and you have the dark stone. You don't have light, dark, crazy designs all over the place. It's very cohesive, but it's very simple, but it's executed very well. This is something you'd find in I would say, if you look at just how a lot of luxury color palettes are in like hotels and like very, very super high end spaces, they don't have a lot of busyness. It's very subdued. It's very earthy. You have your bronzes and your browns and your earth tones and things like that. And this follows that. So, just think about that the next time you go to like a very, very, very nice hotel, or you see a very, very nice boat or whatever. They're going to have a very simple yet elegant color palette. This does the same thing. Another thing too that I want to point out, the lighting. I've said in other videos before where sometimes they make very poor decisions when they incorporate lighting into spaces. This doesn't have a lot of diversity in lighting types. You have some track lighting, and you have the recessed we don't want to call them recessed. They're can lights. Let's say that. But they are tastefully. They're not too big. They don't really draw your eye all the way up. You see they're there, but they don't take away from the view down the hallway. This is a great execution, a great design choice to keep it this way. This is something else that I thought was a really good choice. This kitchen, again, is very subdued. You can even see here while we're here that the countertops looks like this is quartz, but it matches the same theme as in the fireplace. But what I also enjoyed that they did this kind of gives it a simple what I want to say here. It takes when you have like a wolf range or a Mila range. I mean, you're kind of calling out that this big shiny thing. I think of it like jewelry, I guess, kind of like gaudy jewelry in some instances. Not saying Wolf or Mila are gaudy, but a lot of times when people have certain things, it's because they want the focal point to be on the appliance itself. Now, I can't remember who makes these, but this you have to essentially have the cutouts, for the burners and the knobs cut out of the countertop, because the countertop becomes the kind of like this area becomes the range or becomes the cooktop, but it's incorporated into the countertop space. But it's really elegant. It's minimalist, and it's again, it just kind of disappears. It doesn't call out to say, "Hey, look at me, look at this, look at this wolf range," but because I'm trying to get your attention with it. This does a whole lot. This is a subtle yet really cool way to incorporate it, and I like that they did this. Here's something else I noticed too. These are just the wall plates, the wall switches. I mean, just look. I mean, they could have. What I appreciate is that they almost kind of disappear. They went the extra step to get something that didn't. I mean, these are modern wall plates and light switches, but they almost kind of disappear. You don't really notice them. They're at a comfortable height. I think they all should be, if I'm not mistaken, maybe, gosh, I don't know, maybe 5 feet, maybe 4 to 5 feet off the ground. I can't remember what the regulation is, but they still disappear. They don't call out to themselves, but even they are placed in a way that's really calming and soothing to the eye. This is the one critique right here. This takes up a lot of space. Um, I understand this is adding a bit of whimsy, I guess, to a more kind of more uh, a form and a structure that's really, it has a lot of sharp angles and linear lines and things like that, and this kind of breaks that up. I just don't know if I want this. Not really sure what this is, but I think maybe just some simple globes would have done the same thing without blocking this opening, so that you can see up or down depending on where you are. I thought that was pretty cool too in the shower. You see this executed very differently in a lot of places. They may just cut a piece of stone or cut a piece of the existing stone and kind of put it in a corner because the corner can hold it up. You have two sides to hold to hold the piece up, whereas you don't have that. You only have just the one piece, and they typically don't last long. As soon, like if you put any kind of material on any, like a shampoo bottle or whatever, eventually they'll kind of lean over. But not really sure what exactly in this case they did. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of different ways they can do it. They can use dowels or rods or something like that to keep it, to keep it up. So not really sure what they did, but this is a great execution and kind of departing from what would have been a lot easier to put in the corner. This is a small detail, but it works very well in this space. And look, even here, like the towel hook, it's right here on this line. I love it. I mean, it's just one of those things where they were really thoughtful about raising up that, or even using certain lengths or certain height pieces, and having that continuity go all the way around, and then having the towel hook at an angle or at a height that still is aesthetically pleasing, but functional also at the same time. I mean, I can also say this is just something. Let me just go back here for just for a second. This caught my eye, and I was like, even this. I think this is in the barn or whatever. This is not the primary residence. But when I see this, and I had to really, this kind of jumped out at me, and this just means that this house is. It is very hard to find something wrong with it. And this was the only thing I can find that was wrong with it. This just means that it's a leak somewhere in the ceiling, which is perfectly okay. It means that this house is a real house. It has real issues. It's as perfect as it seems or as it is otherwise. I can appreciate that there's just a small thing that lets you know that this is a real house. And I just wanted to call it out because it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, they didn't even go through the trouble of trying to hide it, trying to fix it, and they're probably still trying to fix leaks. I mean, every water will find a hole somewhere and exploit it. But I do appreciate that this represents that this actually is a real house. It's not AI. It's not whatever. This is a real house with real house issues, and this is the only thing I can find wrong with it. I mean, even the stonework. I'm not sure how old any of this is. I didn't look at the listing on the place to see exactly, the any what the existing structure, what that was. But this is beautiful. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. And what it is it's this is real stone, not because you can see you can look at it when we go back inside that it has continuity or it maintains the same pattern inside. And so what that means is this is likely solid stone all the way through. So there's no telling rather how thick these walls are. But this is just beautiful execution again. Classic or modern interpretation of a classic farmhouse design. And I'm not talking about, the and no shade to Chip and Joanna Gaines because they do or have done a lot of this sort of thing. But I think this is on a whole different level. This is a great execution. It's a great revival because I'm sure they had to do a lot of work to get it to look this way, to modernize it. But this is a great execution. And I think that's it. I think we're gonna leave it here, and I think this is a fitting way to leave it. I mean, look at the pool house. It even has some symmetry, some thoughtful symmetry as well. Um, I can't find anything wrong with this house, and this is a surprise. This is a surprise because I can usually find anything I can find where there's a shortcut. I mean, look at this right here. Look at where the roof support. They even land on um, they land on a line on a. I mean, it's a termination point that is very easy on the eyes. That is very thoughtful. A lot of places, a lot of builders wouldn't be thoughtful this way. They just wherever it terminates is where it terminates. But there has to be some clear planning and execution to arrive at this, and this is just a good job of them, um, you know, getting out and taking paper and putting and making it a real thing, but a beautiful real thing. We'll leave it there. I think this is worth the money that they're asking for it. Not really sure why the builder, the design team, maybe they love these projects where they buy something. I mean, where they make something and sell it, and so it's their baby, and they sell it and move on to the next project and do it all over again. But whoever gets this house is gonna get a very thoughtful, a very cool, a very well executed house. We'll see you next time when we critique something else that I can find something wrong with. This one I couldn't. See you next time.